Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the current episode of Sippin with Steven. And as always, we have another treat for you today. The gentleman to my right, Brett Connors, is what we talked about his title, but we settled on the coolest name I've heard this side of the Bourbon Swami, and that's the Whiskey Wizard. So, Brett, I don't know what the proper salute is for a wizard, but namaste or whatever we need to say. But he is the head person at Castle and Key as far as making their quality product. We got 4 of their expressions up here that we're going to let Brett talk about, but also give our viewers a little bit of a history of your distillery and what they can experience up there when they're heading out on the trail. After this long-winded welcome, but welcome to being on the show, man.
No, thank you for having us.
Sure.
We're really excited about it.
So when people come your way, what is the thing that always jumps out the most that people are like, wow, I'm really glad I came here because this is unlike anything I've seen at any of the other distilleries?
Yeah. No, I think when guests visit the distillery, the first thing that kind of jumps out is our unique architectural tableau, where the distillery was built in the late 1800s, but the primary building is a massive limestone castle. We have 113 acres that are all hand manicured, beautiful gardens, grounds on site. We have a diversity of really cool architectural styles. But I think the secondary overlay to that is our hospitality. So I feel like we're definitely known for being one of the prettiest distilleries in the state, but also kind of offering some of the best hospitality in the state.
So the aesthetics are off the chart. To tell a little secret here, we just found out today that our marketing director got engaged at your location. If that isn't cool, I don't know what is. So not only is there a great place to get a great tasting, but it seems to have that amore factor there that people want to get married or at least get engaged at Castle and Key.
Yeah, I mean, I think, bourbon means so much for so many people, and there's kind of a wonderful social component that we've always had to it. Sure. And, our distillery was one of the first to really kind of focus on the aesthetic of your grounds being tied to the premiumization of your product in the 1800s. Okay. So tying it into the modern site, it's just a stunning place to get married or have a cocktail or buy a nice, bottle for a friend.
Well, terrific. Now, so I'm assuming you all probably have standard tastings when people come in, maybe some elevated experiences or things that are, for somebody that's beyond the initial bourbon, maybe more of a bourbon enthusiast. Are those things that they can go to your web, and we will make sure we hook up the link for your webpage for people to see all these. But could you highlight, like what is a basic tasting tour and maybe an example of one of your elevated ones?
Yeah, so I think what we pride ourselves on the hospitality side is just kind of an inclusivity. Mm-hmm. So we kind of offer a diversity of experiences, everything from, I would never call our tour like standard because all of our tour guides or hosts are taught to really curate to the group. If you come and you're like, hey, I don't drink bourbon, I only want to know about the architecture, we can do that. If you say, hey, I only want to know about production, we can do that too. But we offer kind of a foundational experience that's a little bit of the gardens, grounds, you walk by some warehousing, that kind of jazz. We offer some more unique events that are kind of throughout the month, things like, yesterday or last week we did a book signing with John Karloftis, who's an amazing fine gardener. So John came and spoke just to the gardens and grounds. We have an on-site bar, that's Taylorton Station, so you can grab a cocktail, sit by the creek. We're trying this year to bring back some cocktail classes, some deeper historical dives. So all that stuff we post that through our website. I was going to ask, so if they know they have a specific theme that they want to go through, they can do that, make arrangements ahead of time to try to, or is that curated on the? Yeah, I mean, we can kind of curate it on the fly depending on how big the group is. We also offer private experiences where we can kind of curate that. I definitely think our newsletter, it's a little bit old school. We send out 1 or 2 a month, but that's always the best place to see something really special or unique come through, including, dinners, events, bottle releases, all that jazz. And we will make sure we have that link in the write-up that we do for this release. So that's terrific. Now, the part of it that is, I'm looking here in front of me, I see 4 unique bottles, 2 of which are clear. Yes. Yeah, it's a little bit unique. It's kind of the Sesame Street moment. 2 of these things don't look like the other, right? Well, why don't you give our viewers a little bit of the rationale behind, I've had the incredible gin before. Yeah, thank you. The vodka I have not, but why Bourbon Distillery has clear spirits as part of their portfolio. Yeah, so what I love about our clear spirits is they kind of have a whiskey soul to them. When I'm looking at these goods, we were really waiting for our actual maturits to become mature, right? So our rye and bourbon, we didn't want to be forced to release something that we weren't excited about or we didn't think had appropriate maturity to it. Sure. So, the youngest you'll ever see a bourbon for us is 4, and then that age is going to be growing as we grow. But with our clear goods, they were a way to really kind of educate people to our approach and become really credible in the distillation space before and as you were waiting for our brown spirits. So the first one there is going to be vodka. Vodka is going to be a bourbon base, so we actually take our bourbon new make and redistill that to a vodka purity. Gin is the ultimate playground for a spirit. You can use thousands of different herbs and botanicals to build those flavor profiles. So we actually start with that with our rye whiskey new make. We distill that into a grain neutral spirit purity or vodka purity, and then do all vapor distillation for that. But yeah, it allowed us to showcase how kind of nerdy and intense we were. Everything we make is from scratch.
Yeah.
We're not sourcing anything from anybody, which is not a criticism.
No, it's just how you do business.
It wasn't right for us, and we're pretty fanatical on the attention to detail side.
Cool.
So this allowed us to really use these as a vessel to have a conversation with our consumers about quality of product, purity of good, and like what we dug.
Well, I will tell you this, kind of on the nerdy side that pertains to me. My former boss, Penny Peevler, a couple Christmases ago, gave me a bottle of Jarl's Restoration Rye, and it was from batch 1. And it was the kindest gift I've ever had. I still have it sitting on my, but I have cracked it. Though,
yeah, it's all made to drink.
It was a little bit of quality control.
Please open your bottles.
So we did that.
PSA on opening the bottles.
So I will attest that it is fantastic. I want the bourbon we will try. But these, we just want to give a little bit of a taste or a snippet for folks to go to your webpage to explore what they can do to drive some traffic your way in historic Franklin County, Frankfort, Kentucky. Now, the next thing as we transition is to have you make a cocktail using one of your great products. And this is, guys, typically we will do a pre-batch cocktail. Brett said, no. He wants to make it on camera. And then he said, do we have an ice receptacle? And my colleague, Leslie Anderson, said, I have a disco ball ice ball.
Which is the most Louisville thing ever.
And we sell them at the Fraser Gift Shop. There you go, Mindy. So we're going to be doing that drink. So tell the folks what you're going to make and what we're going to enjoy here.
So, I think for me, when I'm making cocktails for the summertime, I'm automatically thinking clear goods like gin or vodka. But one of my favorite summertime bourbon cocktails is a brown Derby.
Yeah.
We're only past Derby by a week or so I feel like it still counts. But what's great about a brown Derby is it's kind of a play on a sour, but instead of lemon juice, you're going to swap that out for grapefruit juice, a little bit brighter, higher acid.
Yeah, sure.
And then you're going to finish that with a little bit of a brighter sugar structure. I used a local honey out of Central Kentucky.
Awesome.
It's 2-to-1 simple syrup, which is pretty easy to make. 2 cups of honey, 1 cup of water to do that. But I'll crack it out. This is going to be a shaken cocktail since we're using.
Sure. And I will tell people, as always, we will have the recipe in the newsletter that we have that has the episode in it. So we will make sure that they can drink the Derby and enjoy that all throughout the summer. So as you are doing this stuff and whipping these accoutrements around, which is fantastic, I will tell folks the personal experience I've had up at Castle and Key. It has been nothing but fantastic. Went there actually right before you all opened up and just got to take a tour of the grounds, and it was just spectacular. Got to check out the retail store as well. Have not been up there for a tour and a tasting, but I will make that happen and probably more than likely bring some of my folks with me so they can see firsthand how cool this is, and that it's only roughly 45 minutes away, something along that line. Not too far, a nice little drive in Central Kentucky to come check out this great location with all its history and all of its traditions, and check out from the production to the beautiful grounds and walk those 113 acres, et cetera, and just see what a great opportunity it is to be part of your Central Kentucky Bourbon Tour or Trail experience. So, looks like we are shaking right here and getting ready to partake. As Mr. Bond once said, shaken, not stirred. And we will go that route. Cool little glasses here.
Yeah, I like a coupe. These have the greatest backstory ever. Coupes were designed to mimic the chest of Marie Antoinette.
Okay.
Which is funny coming from the bar space. everybody always joked they feel like a very feminine glass, but I guess they are in a way. Well,
but it's like, it's the rest of the story. Well, if that's, there's nothing better than the historical aspect of a cocktail. Well, it looks very summery, that kind of grapefruitish, pinkish hue to it.
And you can really, you can double strain these, you can clarify them, you can make them, pretty upscale if you chose to, but I like this. It's simple, it's easy.
Order. Yeah.
Made to order. Fresh juice is always the best juice.
Sure.
With the one exception being a gimlet. If you're making a gimlet, you need Rose's lime juice. That synthetic tone is,
And we used, I'll grab this and give a little bit of an overview. We used the bourbon here, which is 103 proof.
Yeah, so batch proof changes batch to batch for us. You know, we're big on kind of freshness and seasonality and more of like a viticultural approach to blending.
Sure.
Where our goal is not necessarily consistency of product, it's consistency of flavor.
Well, one of the things, and Brett, I'd like you to confirm or deny this. When we were talking old fashioned with a bartender of mine, his whole philosophy was anything with a mixer or a syrup or whatever, the whole key was having a spirit that was 100 proof or more to cut through and still be able to taste the bourbon. Would you concur, or is that wrong?
I've done this on both sides for a long time. I've been fortunate to work behind the rail, but also in the production area. And for me, anything under 100 proof just has a higher risk of dilution. So when you're using and putting water into it, you're breaking down a spirit pretty aggressively. Where we strategically, with most of our products, are above 100 proof because we think they cocktail better.
I think so too.
And a lot of your whiskey drinkers still drink whiskey on the rocks. You know, I think the connoisseur side, we're always bourbon neat, bourbon neat, bourbon neat.
Yep.
My dad's an old school bourbon guy, and he drinks bourbon on all the pellet ice you can put into a tumbler. You know, and he tips over 20%. You know, he drinks responsibly. Those are the things I really care about when somebody's drinking whiskey.
Sure.
But yeah.
All right, well, let's take these drinks, and before we sip this great cocktail, we're going to do, in Sippin' with Steven tradition, we're going to have a toast to Castle and Key, to the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, to the Fraser, and let's see cheers. Let's see what this tastes like. Oh my goodness. The grapefruit is something you don't see in that many, cocktails, so it's something different. I happen to love grapefruit juice.
Yep.
I just don't always think about it. That is a fantastic cocktail.
Thank you.
Last thing before we leave, folks, please consider taking a trip to Castle and Key. Go to their website, see all the things they have to offer, and go out and see Brett and come out and visit those folks and see what they have to offer. In the meantime, we will see you down the trail. We will say cheers one more because I just want to have another sip. Thank you, my friend, for coming and doing this. Thank you so much.